everybody, it's Leisha from Caught by Design. Today I want to talk to you about how to use the tool adapters in the Cameo 4. So the Cameo 4 comes with 4 different colors of adapters. You have the gray one, which is for your deep cut blade and your premium blade. The black adapter, which is for the ratchet blade or the fabric blade. The white adapter, which is for the 2mm kraft blade. And the blue adapter, which is for sketch pens and third-party tools. Let's look at the adapters a little bit. Each of them have a little piece on the back, and that is what lets the tool sensor know which blade you have installed, or actually which adapter you have installed. And so that way it will sense it and it will bring it into your software. Otherwise, you'll just be using your auto blade, which also has a sensor on the back and sends that information to the machine. Each one of them opens in the same manner. And they're lightweight, but mine have held up. I use the black one quite a bit, and I haven't had any trouble with it. They do feel quite light, but so far that hasn't been a problem. Okay, so to use one of the adapters, you simply put the blade in, but you have to be careful where it's going to go. So here you'll see that the premium blade, which is what I'm using now, fits in there, but that is not correct. You want this part to go right down here, and once you do that, it kind of looks funny because there's a space at the bottom. You know, you would think that it would go more up like this, but it goes like this so that then you can lock it. And this one's the premium blade, but it works just the same way with the deep cut blade. The little lip on there goes right there, and then you want to make sure it snaps closed. Okay, now let's look at the black adapter for the fabric blade and the ratchet blade. Now, the fabric blade is blue and the ratchet blade is black, but other than that, they are exactly the same. You can use a ratchet blade to cut fabric. You can use a fabric blade to cut paper. It doesn't matter. It's just a way to help you differentiate, kind of like if you have fabric scissors as opposed to your general paper cutting scissors, and that's the only difference. Okay, so here, once again, you might think it was going to go up here, but it does not. The lip fits right down in there, and you want that, see how that right there won't close? It's because of that fin. You want that fin to fit right in that channel right there. So sometimes it's easier to put this one in like this. Black on black's kind of hard to see, but okay. So now I've got, it's kind of hard to see in that black. I'll put the blue one in a minute, but that fin is right in there, and then you can snap it shut. Might be a little bit easier to see with the blue one. Okay, so you have this little channel here. You have the fin on the blade, which in the older model machines, we install it with the fin facing forward or in the 6 o'clock position. Here you're going to put it right down in there. And if you get it in the right spot, it won't move. It's in there pretty snug. Snap it closed. Okay, now this one is the 2mm kraft blade. There's also a 3mm kraft blade that has 3 sets of numbers on there, excuse me, but this is the 2mm. and it is designed to be used with the Cameo 3 with no adapter, but you can use it in the Cameo 4. So it also has a small little fin on it, which goes down in that slot right there, and a lip that goes right here. So let's get that down there. And that one's fixed. Then you've got your sketch pen that just kind of, it more or less, it doesn't have as much of a lip, but it will rest in there, and it doesn't matter what direction it goes. It's going to move freely, or turn freely, I should say. Okay, so now that we know how to put the blades or the tools into the adapters, let's talk about how you adjust the settings on them. It's only the auto blade that will automatically adjust according to your software settings. For these other blades, you've got to manually adjust them, and you want to adjust them to the point where they match your software setting. But you know, if you have your software set on, say, a 6 and you put your blade on a 2, well, you're not going to cut deep enough. Or vice versa, if you have your blade on a 6, but your software is showing you that for whatever material you're using, the setting should be 2, you're going to cut right through it. So, when you insert the premium blade into the adapter, you're not going to be able to adjust it. You can't get enough traction there to turn it, and it's the same way with the deep cut blade. So you do need to at least open the adapter to turn it, and your setting is going to be right wherever that red line is. You'll need to just turn it and match it up. You can go halfway point if you find that that works better. Say a 5 is too deep and a 4 isn't deep enough. You can go kind of right in the middle. What you do have to be careful of is that it is possible to dial it back a little bit before the 0. And so you might think you've gone past 10, but really you're before the 0. But you can kind of run your finger along that, and if you don't, feel any blade, you'll know that you're really just somewhere in the negative range. And then if you go all the way up to 10, not only will you feel it, but you should see a little bit of the blade poking out. And then for the deep cut blade, which goes up to 2 millimeters, same way. The red line is going to be on whatever the setting is, but you'll see you've got 2 sets of numbers here. You have a blue 1 and a red 11. So if you're on this one, how do you know if you're at 1 or 11? Well, you look at this ring right here. If you see blue, then you know you're in the blue setting. If you do not see blue and you only see red, then you're in the red setting. Again, it's possible to go kind of into the negative range where you don't feel anything. And so you might think, oh, I'm at, 9.5. Well, no, you're not at 9.5 because you can't feel anything. Or maybe you think, oh, I'm almost to 20. Well, you should look here and see that there's a blue ring, so you're in the blue settings. So if you just dial around, as you get higher and higher in the blue numbers, you'll see less and less of the blue ring until up here at 9, you're barely going to see any. At around 10, you should start to see only red, and then so on and so forth. And by the time you get up to 20, you're going to have a lot of blade poking out, very little of the red left, and definitely no blue. Okay? Now, let's look at the 2 millimeter kraft blade. The 2 millimeter kraft blade can be used in the Cameo 3 with no adapter at all. Obviously, there aren't adapters for the Cameo 3. But they also make a 3mm kraft blade that can be used in the Cameo 4 with no adapter. It has a built-in tool sensor, and it will have 3 rows of numbers here. But the 2mm can be used in the Cameo 4 with this adapter, and it adjusts in the same way that the premium and the ratchet blade adjust. Sorry, the premium and the deep cut blade, but you can adjust it while it's in the holder. You can dial it back pretty far, so you have to kind of be careful. The cap will come off, and you can go down where, you know, that looks like 13, but it's really way past 20. So you just have to kind of think about how much of the blade you're seeing. So for instance, here I'm at 1, barely can see it. So if I'm at 10 and I don't feel anything, that's definitely not 10 or 20. But if you're not careful and you just keep turning, your cap is going to come off. But the red line indicates what your blade setting is. Okay, a sketch pen obviously does not need any kind of adjustment. You just insert it in the tool adapter and then put it in the tool holder, and you're ready to sketch. All of the adapters go in tool holder 1. They have a little 1 on here, and that's what that's telling you. Put this in tool holder 1. Tool holder 2 has too much force for these tools. That may change in the future, but for right now, all adapters go into tool holder 1. You'll see the 1 there, there, and let's get this one popped in right there. Now the black one is a little bit harder to see, but it is there as well. Now the reason that I saved the fabric blade and the ratchet blade until last is because when you buy a ratchet blade or fabric blade, you'll see in the package this little gray, dark gray tool. And you may be wondering what that is for. Does that go on the blade somehow, or what do I do with that? Well, that is the adjustment tool. And I'll be real honest with you, in 7 years of owning a Cameo, I may have used this once. I have seen people string them on for necklaces. You know, most of the time I just throw mine away. But the way that this is supposed to be used is, you see this little notch right here, or triangle, it's not really a notch. You put the blade in and match up the red line with that notch. And then you turn it, you'll hear it clicking, and whatever the triangle is pointing to, or arrow, that's your blade setting, and that's where the red line is going to be. Now, you actually have a built-in adjustment tool in your Cameo, or on your Cameo, and I'm going to show you that. And that's why I just throw these things away. You don't need them, and they're probably going to get lost, and they're cluttering up things anyway, or you know, maybe if you know how to recycle them. But the ratchet blade and the fabric blade also can be adjusted in the tool holder, or in the tool adapter as well. So that's another good thing about it. So let me pause this for just a second, and I'll go over to the Cameo, and you'll see how you can adjust the blade in the bed of the machine. Okay, so we're at the Cameo 4 machine now, and if you've ever seen this hole here in the bed of your machine and wondered what that is for, that is a built-in adjustment tool. Just like we had the adjustment tool that came in the package with the ratchet blade, well, this one is built in to the machine, so you don't have to worry about losing a little part or anything like that. And it also has an arrow on it, just like the little tool did. And so to adjust the blade, we're going to line up the red line with the arrow and then turn the blade and you'll hear it click. And I'm going to adjust this to a 1. So once the 1 is lined up with the arrow, I'll take it out and you'll see that my red line is at a 1. So you can adjust this blade in the adapter or just by itself. As I said earlier, all of the blade adapters go in tool holder 1. So to insert them, make sure the lever is pulled out. You'll insert it with the sensor to the back. You'll want to press it all the way down. Push the lever in so that it locks into place and the little teeth here catch in the groove. Once you've done that, you're all set. I hope you found this video helpful and that you now feel a little bit more confident about using the tool adapters in your Cameo 4. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment, email me, or visit me over on Facebook. Thanks for watching.